I keep seeing new people keep tweeting of like, hey, here's another person making a new video or asking the Hex and PulseChain community to make another video. Should they make a video about the product? And I think once they see the engagement, because every time somebody tweets something good about Hex or PulseChain, ton of engagement. The community is just like, share, comment. Yeah. Thank you for covering this. Dude, is this how I feel like I want this diagram or this mind map or something of all these things happening in the last month or two. And I don't know, man, I don't want to jinx it, but what else do we need to see before we're back?
I mean, I think prices, like, I don't look too much into kind of the auxiliary stuff. It's like those are kind of supporting details. The bottom line comes down to new demand. And I think we're seeing it. I mean, what's the combined HEX price? Is it 3? I think they say the combined there on that site.
Around 3. 2.7. Just look at the daily again too. Yeah, I mean, wow. That's the one. Pulses went up a lot. Waiver SAC, PulseX still not hit SAC price yet. Hex, I think everyone's waiting on the Hex, man. Like I keep hearing, somebody keeps talking about like, when is Hex when do we get into 10 cents? Like stuff like that. Like since the liquidity is bonded, how hard is it for Hex to go up as much as the other ones? Is it just literally, I feel like it's got the most, does it have the most holders? I don't know. What metrics do you factor into that for like Hex price go up?
Well, just from the liquidity, like the effect of another coin comes down to like the ratio between the coins versus each other, like how much is there. They kind of both have a lot of overhead, maybe not so much now that it's above sacrifice price. So Hex may have a little bit more overhead because how many new wallets came in between July of 2021 and January of 2022? So
yeah,
with that many users that have a really high cost basis, that's a lot of overhead. And then Hex was the only one that was split into 2. So kind of double whammy there in terms of like the effect of the bull market and then the PulseChain launch. So that probably explains why it may appear to be kind of lagging. But I think that over time, as soon as that wave of top buyers are just kind of either flushed out or neutralized in some other way, then I think that overhead kind of disappears, and then it turns into there being more, more of that, those like kind of looming past buyers. As soon as those people turn to be in the green, there's a lot less sensitivity around selling. People that are down big are looking for any pump to sell into, but someone who's up big, they have a really hard time selling. So just that psychology around what price you bought and your effect on the future, balance. So I think that as soon as we flip, and the way I kind of probe that is if you go to the Hex, I think it's hexcombine.anvil.app. Yeah.
This guy likes his Anvil apps.
So we're right around that all-time median. So even so, I wish that I could turn this into like a volume adjusted median or like a user adjusted median. But if you make the assumption, which obviously isn't true, but like just roughly using the assumption that like all buying and selling is spread equally over each day, being at the all-time median means that half the day's price was below that level and half the day's price was above it. And so hugging that all-time median is actually like a really good like reset. Like, it went far above it, but that was also early on when there wasn't much history and it had been above it the whole time. But then by now it's like there's 100 and what day is it? Like 15 something. There's 1,500 days of history. And that moving median, it takes a lot to really move that. But it represents kind of like a midway point across all participants in the whole ecosystem. It doesn't factor in staking, because if you're staked, then you're, I think by now some of those early stakes that are ending now, they've earned like what, 1 or 200% APY or something. Where where you staked $1 million and you withdrew like 2.5 million or something. I think there's a lot of like, I would have to look and see exactly what the performance of those early stakes are that are ending right now. So those users, from their perspective, the combined price, if you doubled your hex in that time from staking, then your effective price is about 5 cents. And when price is at 5 cents, that seems very high. Like, you're very happy about that. So the all-time median, it's not fully perfect, but I think it paints a good picture for where we are in the entire cycle. So, because I mean, on day one, price starts at where the all-time median is at the current price, so it's kind of like the starting point. And so if you get like a starting point for a new cycle, then we could see a big move up. And then what that means is that, like, anytime you're above that moving median, that means that there's more days where buyers are in the green. And so, and like I said about, if you're in the green, it's hard to sell. Everyone's like, oh, it's going to go higher. But if you're in the red, in your mind, you're like, oh, it's going to go back down, so I'm going to sell. So getting above that moving median is a really strong catalyst for up cycles. So maybe when we see that fully stick, it retraced it right before PulseChain and then undid it, and then actually it like bounced off of it from below twice, and then now it's like revisiting. And so we'll see if it can break through that. Then that may be like one of those like final confirmation things of like a hex bull run. And then you have the all-time average, which is kind of that next level. Like the all-time average range was kind of like a resistance point for that little relief pump that happened around day 1200. And that's just like another, like the all-time average. So that one factors in the price that people bought, not just like the day that they bought. So if we get above both of those, then that's like double, maybe triple confirmation on the, just like the only considering the overhead of past buyers and sellers.
Wow. Yeah, I think so the momentum of people seeing they're in the green to kind of builds momentum, because I guess when you're in the red, just psychologically, you feel like selling more when you're in the red because, oh, I got to get out, or, oh, this is not giving me the dopamine hit that I was looking for. But if you're in the green, you always have that hope of, oh, what if it goes higher? What if, yeah, look around it. Look at all these people. They're not crazy, are they? Like, oh, maybe it'll go higher. Maybe we'll be good. Wow. Very cool. Look at one more here on apphex.win. I just really like looking at, you have some amazing, not only hex, but PulseChain charts too. Because just seeing the number, and this is just, dude, what do we do with this? How do we get 2,000, it's like average 2,000 new wallets, active wallets per day?
So I think that those are a little bit overweighted, because I know that certain like arbitrage and like just trading bots, if they run on a contract, or if they're just like a bot that does this, they may make trades from new addresses every single time. And so you can't fully like rely on just active wallet counts, because like, there may be these kind of ephemeral wallets that are used once. Probably like if you scroll down, can I see that daily active one? Like that's probably a good, indicator. But also like, so it's probably somewhere like that big daily active one. It's, I mean, there's certainly new users factored into that, but I mean, even if it's exacerbated by like bots or anything else that maybe, as part of their operation, creating numerous addresses at a time that are used as part of that. If there are bots that are, pursuing different trading strategies on here, what that means is that there's enough activity in order to support that. Like you wouldn't see bots like trading on like a dead chain. So that number itself maybe isn't fully, doesn't fully reflect the like actual number, but it being high, regardless of if there's like duplicates or whatever, that still is a good sign. Like that number growing, is still a powerful thing.
True.
So maybe like a rate of change is good to look at on that, because like the number itself is maybe kind of arbitrary, but like it growing, the act of it growing at an increasing rate is a positive sign, which it looks like it is.